And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanket. Tyler, Mr. McDowell, how are you doing today?
Dang, hitting me with the Mr. McDowell to start the episode. That was completely unexpected. I'm doing well, Brad. It's great to see you. It was a very positive week. Week 2 of the school year. My goodness, we got through it. We made it, man. Lots of positivity, lots of momentum moving forward. I feel good today. I am grateful today, and I'm really excited for this episode. We're talking lots of pro wrestling. We're talking pop culture. We got AEW Forbidden Door on the horizon. Chance the Rapper dropped an album. I watched WWE AAA Triplemanía last night. We're recording on a Sunday. We got the return of Steph Watch. This is going to be an amazing edition of Gimmick Infringement. Here we go. How you doing?
I'm good. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about this album, because I had no idea. I had no idea.
That will be part of the conversation. Yeah, I actually have a hot take on all this. We will get there.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's great. I can't wait for that. Yeah, it was a busy week, but a really solid week, and I'm thankful for a lot of it. So, Tyler, we haven't done this in a while, but we wanted to start out with a little gratitude. Play the music.
And now it's time for a little self-reflection. So, think about yourselves. Or something.
Tyler, I'm so grateful for so many different aspects of my life, my job. Yesterday, we had a birthday party for one of Freya's good friends, one of your former colleagues, my current colleague, Mr. Cameron Dozier, Dax's birthday. And it was a Nerf birthday. And they had all of these inflatable, like, paintball cover setups out in this giant field at a park nearby, and all the kids had Nerf guns. So 8, 9, 10, some older kids, year olds running around with guns, shooting each other with these Nerf guns and just shouting at each other. It was, teams and capture the flag and zombies, and then it was parents versus kids. Parents versus kids was awesome. So the adults. We were invulnerable. We get shot, we don't care. And then the kids, they get shot, they got to run back and touch goal, and then they can come back out. And Freya came charging at me, Tyler, screaming, just feral. And I grabbed 2 guns. I had the X shot, that thing with six Nerf darts in it. Thing kind of terrible. I'm sure it's a fine product. Did not work for me yesterday. And then I had this ridiculous one that's like a unicorn. I kid you not, I think it's called Unicorn Blaster. And it looks like the last one you would ever pick on that thing. Maybe, I don't know, 600 feet per second this thing would shoot. You get one shot, but it's like that thing's coming out as an absolute heater. And I took a shot from about 20 feet away while Freya's charging at me, ready for the kill. And it went straight on and then just sort of up a little bit, got her right in the face. Hit her right in the face. Got a big old mark on her cheek. But I shot her and she goes, and then turned right around and ran back to touch goal. Had to come back out.
It's like that.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. A couple of the kids shot me, and I was like, okay. I picked up a dart, and then I'm chasing after them.
Did you know those? I was just saying, did
Absolutely
you know those
not.
kids? Because how do you handle? Okay, what if I shoot a kid?
Oh, I'm tagging everybody.
I don't know. Okay, that's just the name of the game as a parent, and anyone can get it at that point.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So most of the kids, I knew who they were. Some of the kids I met for the first time, but there's a name that I'm not going to toss out here that we could talk about later that you, excuse me, might remember, might know. His kids were there, and it was a lot of fun. I'd never met them outside of they were probably babies the last time I saw them, and now they're like in middle school. So absolutely crazy, total mess. It was so much fun. It was way too hot, but I had a really good time. I'm grateful for them setting it up and making sure everybody was taken care of and had a good time. And I'm so grateful for all of my students, man. Like they I've been asking them to do things that aren't the most fun things in the world to do. Safety training, psychological first aid certification, and just doing a bunch of cleaning and organizing and making the place safe and setting it up for the rest of our year to make it a, effective, efficient space to work in and learn in. And they have done it without complaint, with an enthusiasm, with a readiness and eagerness to learn. It's been awesome, man. Really, really cool to just have CTE and not have to live just in content land all the time, to have a CTE centric course load, I guess, has been awesome. So I'm just so grateful for all of those opportunities.
Well said. I'm also grateful for not only kids, but these learning opportunities that we get. During the production meeting before we jumped on the recording here, you and I were discussing how in order to grow, often failing is a prerequisite. You have to make mistakes. You have to come up short before you can learn, before you can grow, before you can become that person or that professional you want to. And in our chosen worlds, I think, of education, in this professional context, we're speaking of Brad, we can often be so self-critical because we're taught to think about what can go wrong, what can possibly be an error here or there. And sometimes we don't give ourselves the credit I think we've earned in terms of how much sweat equity, creative equity, emotional equity that we put into this thing, all in hopes of doing good work for the community, for kids and families who deserve nothing short of our best. So like you, 2 weeks into the school year, I'm grateful for these learning opportunities that I've had. Some have felt large in scale, some have felt smaller, but have led me to a place where I feel like I'm starting to get more solid footing. And my goodness, Brad, if I didn't have amazing parents, if I didn't have incredible friends, the best co-host west of the Mississippi, I don't know how I would do this. So I am grateful for the people I have in my life who make all of this worthwhile, and including our audience for showing up every Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever people check out Gimmick and Fringe. I'm grateful that we have this platform to continue to have these conversations.
Totally agreed, man. Like we have so much to be thankful for. I'm thankful that it's only in the 90s today too. And it was already like I walked out and it's boiling hot. I got to tell you something. You know what makes me laugh? All the news reports about the heat wave in the UK. Have you seen these?
I've missed those.
I've had to do this was like a week or two ago. I saw this we're having a heat wave. It's crazy here. Heat wave, it's dangerous. Make sure you're drinking, hydrating, all that stuff. And then they dropped the Celsius number and I'm like, all right, I got to do some converting because I don't remember, 82 degrees, Tyler.
That's upsetting.
86 degrees, 82 degrees. That's fall weather. That's balmy. That's downright windbreaker time.
Yeah, it's fall. That's fall break weather.
So I hear I'm hearing we got a heat wave over here, and I'm going, oh, thank God it's only 95, 10 degrees hotter than the heat wave, and I'm like, oh, it's nice outside today. It's cooling off. It's mid 90s.
Listen, we love our UK audience, but that's not the number I was expecting.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw it because I thought when I saw the number, I was like, oh man, that must be like in the hundreds. It's supposed to be getting dangerous there. And I looked and I'm like,
82.
What? That's Florida spring break. What are we doing?
Facts.
What are we doing with this? But Tyler, we got a lot to get into, including Forbidden Door talk. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that card coming up. I'm excited for next week. We know those pay-per-views always bring it. We're coming off of a whole bunch of WWE news, but I know before we get into it, we got the two most important words here on GI.
Steph Watch. You're a very humble man, Brad Winchester. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These are the two most important words that can infringe me. It's time for our weekly update. Well, not weekly, I guess maybe bi-weekly at this point. We didn't have Steph Watch last week. There's no way we could go 2 weeks without talking about La Primera, Stephanie Valquer. Brad, I don't know if I've shared with you, but I love me some Stephanie Valquer, as do millions of other fans. Yeah. I saw on social media, another great week for Steph on social, a picture with CM Punk, a picture backstage in the makeup chair. Everyone loves La Primera, and this continues to fill my heart. Speaking of filling my heart, this is a Steph/Naomi watch. On Raw last week, the advertised match between Naomi and Io Sky was canceled. Instead, Io Sky battled Roxanne Perez. Surprisingly, the Prodigy got the win. Io Sky lost that match. But I saw on social media it has been announced that Naomi will address the Raw audience this week, fueling internet rumors that maybe she could be taking some time off. Brad, we've seen this before. It could be a possible step into motherhood. Maybe Naomi is announcing that she is expecting. Hopefully, it is not that Naomi is battling an injury.
Right.
We don't know. We don't know what this could be. Maybe it's storyline related, maybe not. But it just seemed odd that the match between Io Sky and Naomi would be canceled on the show when arguably that was the biggest match on last week's card. So we shall see what happens. Certainly 24 hours after we drop this episode, we'll know definitively. But if Naomi is taking time away, we know that the number one contender for her women's championship is Stephanie Vaquer. If Naomi is healthy and she's good to go and she can fight Steph at Clash in Paris, I think it's kind of a toss-up personally. I could totally see Steph winning. I think it may be a dash too soon. I would pick Naomi in that match. But certainly if Naomi is not able to go for any of the possible reasons we mentioned, Brad, this could be Stephanie Vaquer's time. Before you and I enjoy our fall break, Stephanie Vaquer could earn her first singles championship on the main roster, which that would be the biggest moment in Steph Watch history to date. We shall see what happens. Hopefully we get clarity. Hopefully Naomi is healthy. I would hate to see her title reign end so soon. She's doing the best work of her career. I know you agree with that statement. I also am excited for Stephanie Vaquer because I think we're on the precipice of her doing the best work of her career. So I'm excited for her momentum to continue, and I think she might become champion sooner than I expected.
Wow. Yeah, I saw a lot of rumors about what's going on with Naomi as well, and I'm hoping that everything's good. I think it was a report that Natalya was concerned about her health, not concerned about her career or excited for her health. I feel like that's a weird thing to say, but usually people are like, oh, cool, they're having a baby. That's amazing. If it's like, oh, I'm concerned about what might happen to them, different story. So I'm just hoping that everything's good. And if it is a health related concern, that it's a positive one, like she's going to have a kid. That would be dope. It would be sad for me selfishly because I've been loving this run. So I think that part would be the hardest part to kind of absorb. But the return pop's going to be awesome too. So all of those things. So hopefully everything's good there. Tyler, we got to get into the rest of the W though. And I have so many thoughts about this week. Not all of them in the ring, but I'm ready for your question.
So I teased this earlier. I watched the annual spectacle that is AAA Mania. Or Triple Mania, from AAA. Essentially their version of WrestleMania. Now WWE owns AAA, as we know, so they stream these big events on their YouTube channel, there being WWE. So, Brad, I checked it out. Omos returned. Natty looked great in a losing effort. Lots to like about this show. Mr. Iguana and La Yesca faced off against Finn Balor and Demonito, which is the Demon Finn Balor puppet. It was a fun show. I did enjoy it. I think the biggest winner of the night is someone who actually didn't even win at all. Dominik Mysterio. We have to talk about this guy.
Yeah.
He received arguably the biggest crowd reaction of the evening. I was shook. I didn't realize Mexican fans are in their feelings about Vikingo defeating the artist formerly known as Alberto Del Rio to become the Mega Championship.
Yeah.
So when Vikingo came out, and he was booed, I had so many questions. I go online and find out this is backlash from him defeating Alberto Del Rio, who is incredibly popular in Mexico still to this day. So much so that fans are clamoring for him to pop up in this WWE AAA partnership. So Dominik Mysterio ends up getting pinned in this Fatal 4-Way that main event of the show. El Grande Americano, portrayed by Ludwig Kaiser, versus Dragon Lee, versus Dominik Mysterio, versus the champ Vikingo. Dominik Mysterio gets the biggest babyface reactions of the night, and AJ Styles ends up interfering, costing
fun
the match.
Mixed, huge pop for him, and then it turned on him kind of midway through him to the crowd, and they're all booing because they know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I really thought halfway through this match, oh snap, Dominik Mysterio is winning this thing. Yeah. And they're just going to ride his popularity into the fall and maybe even into the winter. Did not happen. AJ Styles hit the Styles Clash. Vikingo hits the 630, 1, 2, 3. But again, I want to talk about Dom here. How did we get here with Dominik Mysterio? If we think back to 2020, 2021, the beginning of his in-ring career, partnered with his dad, very polarizing debut amongst the IWC. Fast forward now 5 years later, and he has not only become an indispensable member of the roster, but has become a fan favorite across continents, across the globe. Two-part question. How did we get here with Dominik Mysterio? I think this is one of the most impressive career turns in a long time. What do you think, more specifically, is the biggest reason for his success and where we're at today?
I think there's a formula. If you go back, like you could go back to The Rock with it. There's a formula of going like, we're going to make this person a babyface and have them be a babyface, and you're going to like it because of legacy and all the other things that we were all rejecting because we were like, we don't care about this babyface. I don't care about this babyface. Like, we watch Rey Mysterio earn that. And then you have, some kid that the only thing we knew about him is that he was in a custody match and that he had blonde hair. That's it. And now he's wrestling, and it's like, cool. We're supposed to care because of the feel-good story, but we only care because of Rey Mysterio and Rey Mysterio's kid. And that's it. Like, that's Rey Mysterio's kid. That's not Dirty Dom. That's just child. The end. And I think him turning, we were also like, well, he sucks, though. Like, he's not an intimidating anything. He's not like, I don't know, he's not really nefarious. He's just cowardly acting out child who doesn't have a thought for himself because he's only listening to people in Judgment Day. And there's no way to identify with this person, right? Like, how could we possibly identify with this person? So I was watching this interview. It was about writing and writing for actors for television shows and having to keep their beats and their timing and making sure you fit into the numbers and all this. But they were like, how do you make these shows where you can identify with a character? And I'm thinking about it now going like, okay, they were right. And where did I see it go right? They were talking about trying to make somebody be mass appeal identifiable. And you can't do that by making them mass appeal identifiable. It never, ever works. Ever. You cannot connect with something that's just sort of generally a thing. You need specificity. And I think simple little things about Dom's character that became sort of these running inside jokes made it a specific thing. If we went, Dom's a child and he eats kid food, like we would be out. We wouldn't care. What's Dom's favorite food, Tyler?
Nuggets.
He's got nuggets and chicken tendies, right? Not tenders,
yes.
tendies. So you got to call them chicken tendies.
I think tendies is the actual answer there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nuggets is my favorite food as a kid. Yeah.
The more specific you can make it, the more you can connect with a person. Because even if it's not about the tendies or the nuggets, and I didn't eat those things, you know someone who had a nickname for a food, or call them like a little kid name for a food, where, like little kids add ease to everything. Because parents do it too. So we're going to eat some chippies. Get some nuggies, some tendies. Like, we just put that on there to, I don't know, cutify it, make it easier to say. I'm not really sure what that is. But somebody that has said that, or you can identify with that thing, and now you've connected with that person, even at an unconscious level, and you start to understand the character a little bit more. You empathize with the character a little bit more, because we've all been in a position where we're like, in love in a one-way relationship. Or where you're like, I really like that person, but they're good, or whatever, or somebody, maybe you dated them, or you wanted to date them, and they're dating someone, and you're just like, why are they dating that person? Dom and Rhea, Dom and Liv. It's like there's an easy way to connect with this character.
We're probably gonna get Dom and Roxanne.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? This guy. Like, yeah. This is
Exactly.
This is crazy.
And it doesn't make any
too?
sense, which is the whole point, is we know these things without acknowledging it. And then Dom becomes like this dirty player that cheats to win. Eddie started the same way. He's on the Eddie Guerrero track, not the Rey Mysterio track. And it's awesome because we identify with this person, whether we want to or not. He's just doing things that we want to do, like cheat to win, get the girl that you have no business getting. All of those things are things that he's doing, and he's eating whatever he wants. He lives on chicken tendies and nuggets. And of course I'd love to do that, but like my guts can't take that. Yeah. So
I got to go create these lesson plans. These lesson plans are themselves.
Right. In terms,
it's Sunday. I got to get ready.
I'm already thinking about what I'm doing after this. Yeah. So in terms of Dom being over with the Mexican crowd, I think all of those things are true, but you're also getting this Latin representation on the WWE roster as a luchador who's in both worlds. He's, I think he was born and grew up in San Diego. I don't think that's fake. I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah, he reps San Diego hard.
Right.
Yeah, he's wearing Padres gear all the time.
But he's also incredibly proud of his heritage, and so he's this like cool representation of both of those things. He's lucha libre, Latino. He's American. He's all of this sort of like ideal package thing, and everybody loves him because of that. Why? Because they can see themselves in him. We can see ourselves in him, and I think it just goes from like, what is it? What's the Cody line? It's what to undeniable, right?
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah,
from undesirable to
undesirable to undeniable. I feel like Dom did that same thing. Cody did that same thing. Rock did that same thing because we force fed this thing into the system. Went, this doesn't work. Killed it dead. Found specificity, and now we're here. And I think when you can identify with a character that has really no desirable traits, if you want to break it down, to find that we also have those undesirable traits, that's pretty cool. Because Stone Cold didn't go over for being a bad guy. Everybody wants to punch their boss. Well, not me. Like, I did at Walmart. I'm not going to lie. Education's a different animal. But, like, everybody's had that career or that job or that thing where you're like, yeah, I'd like to hit him with a stunner in the break room. Like, because you went like, hey, you punched in 1 minute early and you're in trouble. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It connected with the audience in a way that very few storylines had prior to that point.
Yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, I think Dirty Dom doing the 180 there, and I know people still don't like him. I still like his work is so interesting to me because when they zoom out, it looks great, and when they zoom in, it always feels super slow, and I don't know what that is, but I think it's because he's so tall and he's doing luchador stuff, so it just feels slower than like Vikingo, who's I think shorter than I am. So everything looks way faster.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have moments with Dom, and I can't tell if this is just because I'm a hater, and his character, like you said, eats chicken. I keep saying nuggets. That's my life. Eats tendies, plays video games.
Yeah.
Holds gold. Is gonna go from dating Rhea Ripley in character, Rhea Ripley to Liv Morgan. To Roxanne Perez, the Roxanne Perez. So maybe it's just like as a character.
Did I say Liv Tyler earlier? I feel like I said Liv Tyler. I hope not. I hope not. I'm just being like, all right, let's go. Yeah.
Liv Morgan to Roxanne Perez. So maybe I just have issues with the character in that regard. But I sometimes I'll watch Dominik Mysterio, especially in recent months, and I'll think to myself, Brad, is Dominik Mysterio good? I mean, he's certainly better. Like, he's certainly better than when he started. But I'll just have these moments where, aesthetically, in some ways, he still reminds me of the original Dom. You know, the pants, the swim shirt, that sort of deal. But obviously, the character is so much different now and so much better. The hair, the mustache, in line with a kind of a young Eddie Guerrero, as you pointed out. To me, there are two things. And number one, Dominik Mysterio working hard, I'm sure, behind the scenes to really get good at this and start to step out of the shadow of his dad's legacy, which is one of the greatest of all time. Dominik Mysterio was paired with great dance partners. The ladies we mentioned, most recently AJ Styles. You remember that SummerSlam match with Seth Rollins? I think that was Dominik Mysterio's very first singles match. Certainly the first one on a PLE.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, if you're starting with Seth Rollins, and then here we are 5 years later, you're
Monday
working
Night
in
Messiah. Seth,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Seth
Oh, yeah,
was
that's because Buddy
the
took
heel.
out Ray's
Yeah,
eyeball.
exactly.
Yeah.
Seth was wearing the Rey Mysterio gear. Seth beat Dominik Mysterio, of course, as he should.
Yeah.
And then here we are now, and he's working with AJ Styles. Again, one of the greatest of all time. I think, number one, it's great dance partners. Well, number one, Dominik Mysterio putting in work to become better at this, because he certainly is, in ring-wise, better than when he started. Great dance partners. And then third, as you alluded to, Brad, the character development of who exactly is this character. Yeah. And once it was evident that babyface Dom was not working, being able to pivot, and then here we are now being the face of the Judgment Day, one could argue, so much so that many fans want to cheer for him because he's become such an interesting, unique, funny character. I just didn't foresee this, and I think I was higher on Dom than most when he first started, so it's kind of ironic that I've shifted back a little bit, but I saw the reaction at Triple Mania and thought I would have been completely okay if he left that match as the new mega champion. Yeah. And maybe that will happen down the line, but it's clear to me that he's become not only a really unique character in WWE, but again, an indispensable member of that roster. And like you said, he does bring something different, and he's going to be a fixture on the SummerSlams and certainly Survivor Series, which is going to be in San Diego in a few months. He's going to be at next year's WrestleMania in a prominent match, just as he was here. And it's been quite the transformation over a relatively short 5 years.
One of the kids at some point, we were talking about, like, in psychology class, like what makes you what is attraction psychologically, what makes a person somebody that you're like, yeah, I like this person, what's going on there. And one of the girls was like, I don't know what it is, but there's something about guys when they start chewing gum that makes them 10 times more attractive than when they're not. And I think Dom's babyface run started as soon as he started bringing the gum to the ring.
That's the thing. As soon as he started with the Orbit.
Yeah, you saw him, like, you notice, like, whenever he's out there, he's chewing gum. But
for sure, I notice it now. Yeah.
I don't think he did it when he was with Ray. Suddenly he's in the Judgment Day and he's a gum chewer. And people are resonating with this person more. And it's like,
it resonates.
And it's
tattoos, facial hair.
Strange. Yeah, it's so strange.
I got gum now, too.
All it took was him and Rhea
funny.
showing up for Thanksgiving dinner. And ever since then, absolutely wild, man. So, Tyler, there are rumors abound about a potential TNA WWE purchase. We know that after Anthem purchased TNA, that the plan was to sell it or to get a TV deal. We also know that Dirty Dom is over in Mexico, and people are not having Vikingo holding the title as much as they were not having him beating Alberto to get it. Out of those two things, Tyler, Dirty Dom being over, TNA potentially being purchased by WWE, which of those two coming out of this week are the most surprising to you?
I'm also surprised that Paramount is going to be the home of UFC.
UFC, it's crazy.
That $1.1 billion deal to acquire the rights to UFC, and apparently their model is going to shift where, obviously now pay-per-view is officially obsolete. UFC was the last major player in it. Fascinated to see how Paramount is going to build their identity now. To go from, this is the home of NCIS, Big Brother live feeds, and now we're building our streaming platform around having UFC. So
let's live there for a second, because we talked last week about ESPN and WWE having that partnership. Where's the UFC's current home? ESPN. TKO Sports owning both UFC and WWE, but only having a deal for WWE at ESPN, and Paramount getting the deal for UFC seems like weird timing to me, where they're just switching brands. And I don't know if it's because they didn't want to make the offer. I don't know if it's because they didn't have the capital to have two different brands on the same network, both pay-per-view models, not being pay-per-view anymore. Because the expense, if they kept UFC instead of WWE at ESPN, I imagine would go from the crazy $30 asking price because of the NFL package to probably, like, I don't know, $50 a month at that point for NFL, UFC, and WWE. That would be crazy. But I was shocked that it was Paramount. I thought for sure it would be HBO. which has been home of fights forever. HBO and boxing have been a partnership for as long as I can remember. So for that not to be like WB Max, whatever, Warner Brothers Discovery making a move for it says two things to me. Number one, they're in trouble. I know that they've been looking at shopping around again and trying to sell or merge again. And number two, that Paramount still has a lot of money behind it, and being, Nickelodeon, CBS, and that's kind of it. Where's that money coming from? That's crazy to me.
That's about it.
Mission Impossible is holding that thing together, I think. Mission Impossible, Sonic the Hedgehog, Top Gun. After that, it's old people on CBS, and that's kind of
right. And
shout out to the old people.
I believe I recall hearing that ESPN was paying about $500 million for UFC, and so for Paramount to come in
to over double that
heat check and go over a bill for this, and you and I a few weeks ago, Brad, on air, were discussing CBS, Stephen Colbert, Skydance, the Trump administration. It's fascinating to me that we're still very much there, where Paramount, being the home of CBS, it's interesting. Okay, we're getting rid of the Late Show, and we're getting rid of one of Donald Trump's biggest critics in media. Oh, and by the way, we are signing his top henchman in Dana White to this deal to bring Dana White's company over. So I'm not saying it's completely a work, but I'm starting to connect some of those dots. It's fascinating to me. I think for Paramount Brass, this was, what do we do to stay relevant in the marketplace? Yeah. For ESPN, they need to reimagine and sort of redraw these lines to how do we become the big deal that we were for many years. And for Paramount, what were they known for? Again, for me, it's Big Brother live feeds, but that's about it. If you acquire UFC, even if you have to overpay, at least you are relevant. At least you are in the conversation. And now, because they flirted with combat sports before. I remember watching Kimbo Slice, and they would have these live strike. Yeah. You remember that? They would have these live Strike Force specials, or I think like Elite XC once in a while, or quarterly. And that had its moments, but never really had any staying power. So now acquiring UFC, and you announced you're going to run. I'm not sure if they officially announced it, if it was just speculation, but I'm pretty sure it's legit that they're going to run specials on CBS throughout the year, but then have additional events behind the paywall where you have to sign up for Paramount Plus for it. Fascinating move by TKO. Obviously, financially, they are doing really well. And I didn't even consider that UFC was going to leave the ESPN family. That was really surprising news for me last week. But I promise I'll answer your question, because I am most interested in the TNA aspect of this.
Okay, good, because I'm doing some research here. I'm trying to figure out shareholders for former Viacom CBS, that's current Paramount Global. There's people expressing concern, but I can't find a lot of people in here that I can point to right now. Finding stakeholders, not shareholders, but I'll do some more research on that, because this is interesting to me.
Yeah, the possibility of TNA being purchased by WWE, that wouldn't be shocking at this point. I'm really eager to see who will be the future home for TNA wrestling, for Impact on weekly, every single week. Right now it's behind the TNA.
Probably, Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they backdoored in some language for TKO for UFC to say, like, at future TKO properties, should something exist.
Fascinating. Yeah. There. I mean, this could be total speculation, but between you and I and our audience, you could mention the CW, you could mention any number of networks. Mm-hmm. TNA
on Wednesday nights, Tyler.
Right. That was
only helps the WWE. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That was the reporting, as well as maybe they'll transition from Thursdays to Wednesdays in a move to further compete with AEW. TNA fascinates me. They have for years. I'm a day one fan of the company. I'm still upset at them for not crowning Mike Santana in New York. I don't know why I just didn't give up on TNA right then and there, but here we are, and I'm still watching. Their roster primarily is made up of a lot of ex-WWE stars, and a lot of their biggest stars are either signed with WWE proper or allegedly, most likely, will end up leaving TNA for WWE. Joe Hendry right now is still in TNA, but all signs point to him slowly but surely making his way as a full-time WWE member roster. Mike Santana could easily be snatched up by WWE whenever his contract's up. You have Mustafa Ali. You have Ash by Elegance, the artist formerly known as Dana Brooke. You have Masha Slamovich. So you have Leon Slater, by the way, who I think TNA should go hard in marketing. I've said that so many times on air because I think he is just absolutely incredible. I'm really eager to see who they're going to build their brand around, especially if they get that weekly TV deal. But if it involves WWE not only owning AAA, but also acquiring the rights to TNA, and this hypothetical this year, that would be, I suppose that would be good for business. I know Carlos Silva, TNA president, has been giving interviews, left and right to different organizations and speaking to how important this media rights deal is and how, he has been enlisted with furthering the brand and the business and the reach of TNA. You got Tommy Dreamer backstage. You got Santino being the on-screen director of authority character. I'm fascinated. TNA still holds a lot of cachet for me. And if WWE were to purchase it, I think that would be a way to ensure that TNA will be relevant for a long time to come. I want to be able to watch their weekly product. And if TNA ends up competing with a Dynamite or they end up going head-to-head against AEW events, I wouldn't want that because I want to see everything. I want to see it live. And I know we're in this era of competition is what we need, especially on the same night when NXT Heatwave is going up against Forbidden Door and there's all this counter programming. I just want TNA to do well, Brad. I want the members of that roster to flourish, especially starting with Leon Slater. I could totally see a world in which WWE acquires the rights to it for sure. And in fact, if that happens, isn't it kind of obvious that maybe that was the play this entire time when they started in business together?
Yeah, not until Anthem got involved, right? Like there was some stuff with what was his name, Brett Lauderdale, right?
Yes.
So I think he was still there with the initial. I know for the Mickie James stuff, but I think the initial Jordan Grace crossover, he was still there.
Are we thinking of Scott D'Amore?
Or Scott D'Amore.
Yeah,
Scott D'Amore.
Yeah, Lauderdale, GCW, and Scott D'Amore.
That's why.
And that was also when they went through that transition,
Yeah.
Brad, they got rid of Scott D'Amore. They axed Gail Kim.
Yes.
Reportedly to beloved figures behind the scenes. And they were still good, and business was as good as ever. Please continue, though. But that was something where it was like, is this a sign of a decline in TNA that they got rid of two figureheads to bring in two beloved figureheads?
I think it felt like we want to be able to move without business getting messy. So if we get rid of people that love this place enough to get messy, then it won't get that.
And peep this: we're going to bring in Tessa Blanchard, and you marks are still going to watch and buy tickets to the live shows.
Mm-hmm. How was your live show experience, by the way?
I'm the mark.
I was like,
I'm the mark.
Yeah, you are.
The live show experience was great. We got to see the Hardys. We got to see Trick Williams. We got to see Masha and Lei Ying. It was great. Yeah.
But you got to see people that aren't in the company, and that's where it's starting to feel. TNA NXT is starting to feel, if they buy it, that's to me the equivalent of AEW ROH. Doing the weird crossover stuff where it's like, all right, it's NXT, it's TNA, it's AEW, it's ROH. Which one is it? We got titles everywhere, bouncing around in the companies. There's no door that's forbidden at all. Like, what is happening around here? And people are like, I can't wait to see this cross-company stuff, and it's going to be awesome. And it's like, it's not cross-company if they own it. It's just not. Like, if WWE owns AAA and owns TNA, you can't be like these inter-promotional. No, it's the same company. It's weird. Like, it's kind of like going and buying laundry detergent. And you're like, oh, this is Febreze brand. This is crazy. How'd they do this collaboration? And it's like all Procter & Gamble or whatever giant conglomerate owns all that crap anyway. So TKO would have so many brands in their portfolio that I don't think they'd be able to be stopped as an entertainment juggernaut.
Yeah, they're getting into the boxing space as well.
Yes.
They're everywhere.
And I would love to see... I'd love to see some other things that we could save that for later. I think the TNA thing was more surprising to me. It was shocking to see the crowd booing Vikingo. I had no idea. that they had feelings about Alberto like that, but here we are. But it was the TNA thing was shocking to me for a few reasons, and now I'm wondering about the pay-per-view. Sami Callihan hanged it up, like he boots off, put it in the ring, and the way he rolled out of the ring, I like the way he moved. I was like, yeah, I get it. Like he looked like he was struggling a little bit, and maybe it is time. But it also strikes me as I've watched a little bit of his work over the years. He feels a lot like the Mark Briscoe of TNA, and in the sense that I don't know that he would be a safe bet to have on a WWE card. I would love to see, he would have fit in the 90s perfectly, right? Sami Callihan would have been a huge megastar during the Attitude Era in WWF, which is why I think just for two reasons. One, his style doesn't fit with WWE anymore and hasn't. And two, his size. I don't know that he's got a presence that makes him feel a lot bigger. And then you see him get in there with somebody big and you're like, oh, this is not a big dude at all. Like he's not very tall. I don't know what his actual height is and all that, but he's got this presence that just feels enormous. And his promo work is excellent. His character is awesome. And all I could think was like, is this because he knew it was coming? Or is this because he had to? Because Alberto's not on TV because of this partnership, allegedly. Because even Rey Mysterio, when they were chanting for Alberto when he was talking, you saw this, right?
I did.
He said, like, just give me time. We'll get him back. Just give me time. I was like, ooh. All of it. Just all of it. So, very interesting timing, very interesting time for wrestling. I wonder what it means for Tony Khan and future AEW partnerships. And I will say, I think it's awesome that aside from like referencing wanting to quit and stuff, MJF seems to be the only one that has carte blanche to talk about whatever. AEW has been pretty silent about all this WWE stuff. Right before Tony Khan, would take to socials and complain about it, and we're going to do it anyway and all this stuff. And instead it's like, we have a really good card. We're proud of what we're doing. We're totally locked in on our stuff, because ultimately that's all you can do. Is like, everything else is noise. If they want to counter program, you can't change that. So you just do your best with what you got. And I think it's paid off because the shows have been excellent. I just can't believe how much wrestling we have. There's so much content, man. I'm starting to like, if WWE buys out TNA, all that means for me is I got to figure out when I'm going to squeeze that into the calendar too. Just because now I'll have more access, no pun intended access, to get into being able to watch this stuff. So, really, really interesting. Very surprising. Shouldn't be surprising, but I was shocked that it just sort of appeared suddenly that, oh yeah, we're definitely looking at buying it or buying the rights for them on their behalf as part of the partnership. It's kind of unclear how all this is going to work, but I think this side of the business is as exciting as anything else because it's as unpredictable as some of the matches.
Well said.
So Tyler, we teased it earlier on. I have no idea what this album is. Dare I say I'm taking a chance on this. Now it's time to play the music for Hot Take Ty. Let's get into it.
And now it's time for Hot Take Ty. Spicy.
Brad, we got to discuss this. Chance the Rapper is back after a multi-year album hiatus.
Yeah.
The hip-hop star from Chicago released his second official studio album, Starline, last week. I listened to it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My favorite track so far is a joint called No More Old Men. Very good. The vibes are back, man. We've been wanting a Chance project that made us feel away. This is it. However, my hot take is that Chance the Rapper is still fighting the ghosts from his underwhelming debut album, 2019's The Big Day. Brett, I remember the Chance the Rapper coloring book era. The project where he has the 3 hat, the sort of red background,
the pinkish red,
the pinkish red.
Yeah.
I had the poster in my classroom for
Iconic
many years.
Album cover.
It really became iconic. I remember 2015, 2016 when he dropped this. How much
all on Spotify, right? That was early Spotify,
yes.
Only place you could access it.
Independent, new artists coming up,
Incredible.
People of all ages and backgrounds who were locked in and really enjoying this dude. I remember it vividly to this day. Again, that was 2015. And then in 2019, he releases this project. He entitles it The Big Day, and it is one of the biggest debut album flops in a hip-hop history. I hate to come for a brother like this, but it's just facts that it was just critically...
It was bad.
Just disparaged.
It was bad.
It was bad. And around this time, there was a lot of media backing of Chance. He appeared on the ESPYs. You couldn't...
Let's Do That Hockey.
Exactly.
That era, yeah.
You couldn't not turn on the TV or go on Instagram and not see Chance the Rapper. So he had the media backing. He was a media darling. He had a lot of grassroots support. And then he just released a project that wasn't good and it totally flopped. And now here we are 6 years later. And I would argue without the same amount of fanfare or nowhere near the amount of publicity, he drops this album, Starlight. Yeah, I shook you with it. You were like, oh yeah, I guess he released an album. That's
I just added it. I just added it to the playlist.
I'm glad you did. It's a good project. 17 tracks. It clocks in at just under an hour and 10 minutes. Tons of guest appearances from Jamila Woods on the aforementioned No More Old Men track, which is a total bop that I loved. There are other features from BJ the Chicago Kid, Vic Mensa. This is probably the most well-known track, Brad, The Highs and Lows, featuring Joey Badass. They released a video for this, I want to say last year. It's been out for a minute. Of course, Lil Wayne pop-ups on there, Smino, so on and so forth. So lots of really great collaborators for him. Again, I enjoyed this project, but to me, the hot take is around, I believe that the flop of The Big Day has really stunted his growth and will continue to do so. I don't know what it is about that project or about that era that is so hard for him to reclaim where he was, but like the sports teams we root for, Brad, you have a window often. The Phoenix Suns had this from about 2021 to 2023.
Yeah.
Again, teams, we root for, even wrestlers we root for. You have the Ryback, let's say. You have this window, these years, the specified time where you can be the person. In this case, you can be the guy. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. Chance missed that window. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he seems to be healthy and doing well. I really enjoyed this project, but I don't think it's near the magic of Coloring Book. And I am worried as a Chance fan that maybe he just missed his window and there won't be a project to get him back there. But this is a step in the right direction.
Well, you never know. Like there's time periods where things happen, and then
it's true.
I mean, look at Eminem's career. It's so interesting. You look at his discography, and it's like, okay, huge out the gate. His sophomore follow up, huge. After that, it's like a little less good. But he had 8 Mile in the middle of that, and then it was okay. This isn't good. This has one good song, and it's just like I don't know. And then suddenly he comes back, and it's like okay, he had an album this year. He's going to be a grandfather, and he had an album this year, and it was a pretty good album. You never know. Like at least there's really good stuff on it, and stuff that I appreciated because Chance is the one that made me go, okay, I forgot how much I enjoy hip hop. I gotta get back into this because I got sucked into like folk music for 10 years and nothing else. Like I just turned off. I can't stand listening to things on popular songs now are so garbage that it just sounds like formulaic BS from a producer. And I did something today on the way home I haven't done in years. And that was listen to Linkin Park. And I forgot how good some of the stuff was, even though they're crazy formulaic. It's good formulaic, and hearing how they change it up and what they're, it's a whole thing. But Chance made me go, okay, this is really cool. That's how I found Childish Gambino. Like there was a whole era in there when it's like, okay, I got that, and then I have Frank Ocean, and then I got like there was all kinds of stuff that opened it up for me.
That was that 2015, 2016 era.
Yeah, there was like a 4-year, 5-year run in there where I was like, okay, Kendrick and J. Cole and all these people that I had no idea.
Chance was right there though. He was
he was
on the precipice. Completely different than Kendrick and J. Cole.
But because of his publicity.
Right.
Yeah, because his fame and publicity made me go, I have to go check this guy out.
Exactly.
I have to. It was again undeniable. I had to go check it out, and I was like, this is really good. Okay. I hate Spotify. Why am I on this stupid app? I have iTunes, not Apple Music. I have iTunes, damn it. It's funny, on that note, transition out, I was asking for iTunes to be installed on my all the computers in the auditorium. Yeah, iTunes isn't a thing. So felt good being that old that I'm asking for iTunes. So we installed Apple Music because that's the thing. Apple Music, and it kept failing to install. I'm like, there's no Apple Music on this thing. I did not know that on at least Windows platforms, not Mac. Apple Music just takes you to the website and you can log in and stream your library from there. Had
Correct.
No idea.
Yeah, that's what I do for class.
Well, I still have iTunes installed on my laptop, my work laptop for pulling music, and it hasn't been working very well. And I think I know why now. So really, really cool that you could just do it all on the web. But I was like, what is happening? What is this? Why won't it install? God, I'm old. I'm old, Tyler. I'm old. I used to have to just buy albums and not be able to stream them when I wanted with a subscription model. On that note, feeling old. Getting a little long on the tooth in this episode. Let's go into AEW talk. Hit me with your question.
Okay, AEW. There is reason for hope. AEW Forbidden Door is this weekend, and you're right. We shouldn't give up on artists so soon. Chance is still a young man, and who knows what's ahead. But I still think about the big day and what happened.
I don't know if we're ever reaching that. No,
I don't know. Yeah, it was
okay.
It was just a different time in 2015. But this album is good. Check it out. Let us know what you think. Let us know here in the comments on YouTube. Hit us up at GFPod19.
Liv Tyler full circle. Aerosmith released a country album, so you never know what happens. Go ahead.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. AEW Forbidden Door is this weekend, Brad. Before I ask you my AEW Forbidden Door specific question, I do also want to give a shout out to Fightful Select. They broke the news that Hook has re-signed with the company. I know you saw that vignette set in New York doing the bat signal with the Hook H. They showed that during Dynamite. At some point, we'll need to have a follow-up conversation about Hook. And speaking of reclaiming fervor and magic and momentum, I don't think there is a more interesting character in terms of what's next for them in the company than Hook. Brad, you remember those first few matches when he appeared on the scene and we were like, oh, this dude is a future world champ. He had that program with Samoa Joe.
Chewing gum. I'm telling you.
Okay, maybe that's the answer. Chewing gum.
Or eating chips.
But congrats to Hook on re-signing, re-upping with the company. I am again just fascinated to see what is next for him as a character within AEW. But just want to make sure we note that here. Here's my question though for Forbidden Door this weekend. Like you said, the card looks incredible. Should be a very, very fun show from overseas. Who is in more danger of losing their title this weekend? Kazuchika Okada, Timeless Tony Storm, or Hangman Adam Page?
That's a tough one. It's a really tough one. I don't know that they pulled the trigger on Okada right now. Maybe. Man, that's tough. So I was looking at the card. I have it pulled up here because we have the steel cage match, we have the tag team match, and we have Okada versus Swerve. I don't think Athena will take it right away. I just don't know if they'll do that. But if they do, I'm here for it. Where does Timeless Tony go? Maybe this is where maybe Mina gets involved and turns on her. I don't know. Maybe that's a good program going out of that. I have absolutely no idea. I don't think there's any chance that MJF is beating Hangman this time around. I just don't. I think it's going to be a great match. But I also think that Page retains. After that, you got to have them have a pretty good run here. And we know that they're pretty good about not having a very short main title run, world championship run. That being said, Athena and Tony Storm is probably going to be one of the two best matches of the night. I think Swerve Okada is going to be a great match. I don't think it'll be one of the 2 best. I think it'll be top 3, maybe 4. I don't know. It's hard to know. Danger wise, I'd say it's probably Okada being in the most danger, and then after that, it's Tony Storm. I don't know. Tony's had such a long run. Oh God, I don't know, man. I don't know. My answer is coin toss between Athena or Swerve winning.
The vibe I get, the sense I get, is that all of the champions in this question will be favored to win by the time Forbidden Door Day rolls around. Kyle Fletcher for sure is retaining the TNT title. The Hurt Syndicate probably are the leader for which champion could enter this show and leave without their titles, whether it's Brodito, probably not FTR, but if Brodito beats FTR on Dynamite to qualify for Forbidden Door, could absolutely see Brodito winning that match. They have a lot of momentum. They're super fun, and they've really caught something special. The audience really, really loves those 2 guys. For this question, Brad, I agree with you. Hangman seems like the lock out of these 3 options to retain. They teased Swerve battling, I think, a knee injury. They teased that during the segment between Okada and him on Dynamite. So to me, that's maybe a sign, an indication. Okada's going to take advantage and win that match. And then, like you said, you have timeless Tony Storm versus our forever ROH Women's Champion Athena. And my thought is Athena would probably drop the ROH Championship before she officially becomes AEW Championship.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm sorry, the AEW Champion. Agreed. Right? Yeah. So I would say it's Okada in this scenario. I would. I don't think Okada's losing, but I think he has a greater likelihood of dropping his title than Tony Storm does on this particular show. And Athena has lost a lot of big matches on AEW TV. So I'm kind of near that question of, can we afford another major Athena loss? But I have to believe at some point she will be crowned. However, I think that'll be after her time in ROH is done.
I just wonder if it's the right move to have her win, take the belt, and be a double champ, forever champ, AEW champ, and that's the match with Mercedes at All Out. And now we have multiple belts versus multiple belts.
Jeez.
That would be
is there enough
how
room
much
for all
would that
those titles?
Rule? Like that's exactly it.
Yeah,
like,
and they're teaming this
battle,
week on Dynamite, which is pretty fun. That'll be must
yeah, which would
Windsor
be an easy turn, right? By the time we get there, it's like that would be so much fun because it's like I don't even know how you parse all that out, but it's just like the battle of the belts is just one match, and it's those 2. I would be so here for them closing that pay-per-view.
I totally forgot to ask. Do you think Mercedes is dropping this weekend in that 4-way match? Champ doesn't even have to get pinned to lose. Do we crown Alex Windsor?
That would be the best way to do it for her because it protects her. Unless she eats the pin. I don't see that happening. But I don't know. It's just who's the TBD? We don't know yet, right? So
as of this recording, I don't think
it kind of
There's Persephone,
depends
and then
be.
We're waiting on that 4th one.
Yeah, we have Alex Windsor, Persephone, and then somebody from Stardom, and I don't know who that'll be. The only one on there that I can also say like would be kind of fun is Takahashi beating Kyle Fletcher and having a run in AEW for a while. I know they've done that before. Didn't they do that with Shibata before he signed? Or Kota Ibushi before he signed? I can't remember. It was the early, like maybe before leading up to the first Forbidden Door. I feel like something like that happened. Mm-hmm. Maybe they didn't win a title, but they were around for a while. Mm-hmm. Zack Sabre Jr. had that ROH run, and he wasn't with the company. So I can see them doing something like that. Yeah. That's why I was so confused. I thought he was signed because he was constantly on TV doing promos, and it's like, no, he's just doing a thing.
Now that we talk it out, there are a lot of title matches on this card. Kyle Fletcher is a lock to me. I don't think he's losing a match for.
No, I don't think so either. I think it would be fun. I'm just saying I don't think he's losing. It would be being fun and being realistic are 2 different things. So.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Love Kyle Fletcher.
I mean, I think it would be awesome if. Can you imagine if Nigel beats Zack Sabre Jr.? No chance it happens.
I hadn't considered that. Yeah,
but. Well, maybe there's a chance that it happens. I think that would be That would be so fun for Nigel toward the tail end here to be able to go to New Japan and do some work. I think that would just be super cool.
Are we sure MJF has 0 shot of beating Hangman Page?
Oh, never 0.
Okay.
Just highly unlikely, I think.
Okay.
I just feel like the Hurt Syndicate's going to get somehow involved and cost Max.
Oh.
Because I also think Max might end up costing the Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, wow. Okay. Continue
Right?
that story. Yeah, I could see
you may as
it.
well, because they haven't had a blow-off or anything. They just got some thumbs down, and nobody fought anybody.
Max is the type. Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the type of character where he may seemingly forgive, but he does not forget.
Yeah, and I don't...
Someone's getting received.
Does he hire some help? Because he'll never trust anybody as a tag team partner ever again.
Right. We've been thinking that.
Yeah, so...
Is this where we get Wardlow back?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
And any possibility... This is the lingering question of every GI episode. Is this an avenue for Wardlow to return? Is this a storyline where Wardlow... Maybe. We miss him.
Well, we know he's ready, but he got pulled to film something.
Right,
so they're like,
Gladiators.
why bring you back for creative if you're going to be doing American Gladiators?
Right.
And that's... Totally get that. Man, I love this stuff. This is so much fun to try to figure out. It's like a big puzzle, but like it's like 9 puzzles scrambled together, and they're 1,000 pieces each. Okay.
Straight up.
They're all just the ocean. All of them. Okay. So my question for you, convoluted, bear with me. Jon Moxley showed up to ROH. Tony Khan doesn't like the work, reportedly, of New Japan star Evil. Forbidden Door came flying together. And there are a lot of AEW only matches on this card. Tyler, how forbidden are you feeling about this Forbidden Door?
Not as much as I have in years past. That's hilarious how you phrased that, by the way. I'm just, and I think I expressed this last year in the lead up to Forbidden Door 2K24. For a while, I just haven't been sure of what the Forbidden Door show is, what it's supposed to be. I remember initially it was very much this super card and, New Japan's best versus AEW's best. And to your point now, it's a lot of AEW versus AEW, as evidenced by the 3 matches that I framed in my question, completely AEW versus AEW. And then we get integration on some of the lesser promoted matches, if you will. Although that steel cage match should be epic, and the women's TBS title match should be fantastic as well. Not as forbidden as I have in the past. The card has come together well enough for me that I'm invested and I'm excited to see the show. But I've just had to remind myself this is not this is not the same idea of Forbidden Door that we were presented at its inception. And that's okay, as long as the storylines are good, as long as the in-ring matches are going to be fun, I'm okay with that. I just shouldn't compare it to what it was in its inception, when it was, the champ Jon Moxley versus a New Japan star in the main event, and let's see who wins. And frankly, at that point, a lot of those matches were easy to pick, in my opinion. So I don't know that I loved that either, because I knew Jon Moxley wasn't going to lose in the main event of the show. Versus now, for a lot of these title matches, granted, I'm referring to many of them being AEW versus AEW, I genuinely feel unsure about who's going to win. Mind you, I made the case for Hangman to win and Okada to win and Tony Storm to win, but there's always that little seed of doubt where, well, you never know. Versus historically, when it's been AEW star versus New Japan star, my vibe going in is, oh no, the AEW star is going to win the majority of those bouts. So not feeling as forbidden as I have in years past, but I don't know that that's inherently a bad thing, because the show has just evolved and has just been presented in a different way than it originally was, as this, again, New Japan versus AEW. Now we're also integrating CMLL, and
which is great.
Zack Sabre is still popping up, which is always a blast.
I think it's all great. It's just, again, this is okay. You hear so much about filmmaking and people having superhero attrition, and James Gunn, I think, encapsulated it really well. He's like, I don't think we have superhero attrition. I think we have our superhero fatigue. I think we have bad movie fatigue. If you make interesting movies, people will show up to them. But if you don't, of course you're not going to want to see it. Just make good movies and problem solve. Thinking about Superman and watching the behind the scenes stuff of just making choices and as an actor, and how do you convey this emotion? How am I going to do this? And them kind of arguing together on set, not in a you're right, I'm right kind of way. It's like a, how do I say it? A collaborative effort to get to the right thing. And they got there, and they both later on were like, I think that was my favorite day with a director, or favorite moment with a director. And it was like a tense, we got to figure this out. And then they got there, and that scene was awesome in the film. I think that that passion and making it good is something that's really difficult to do consistently and all the time when it's the blend of sport and theater. And in AEW, especially the pay-per-views, more of a reliance on sport and less of a reliance on theater because it's the payoff of the theater along the way, right? I think if you do too much of this surprise part of it before Forbidden Door, having CMLL and New Japan matches instead of CMLL and New Japan stories leading up to Forbidden Door, we end up with Forbidden Door fatigue. And we get to this point where it's like, I don't really care how it was built. I've seen it. And I've seen a lot of it. So when we go like, we're actually going to have these promotions face off. I think the first one, they did a great job of building it up slowly, of going like, wow. And also we didn't, you know, if we weren't watching New Japan regularly, we didn't know who these people were, these wrestlers, these characters. It was like, okay, I've seen Zack Sabre Jr. pop up in promos, usually New Japan promos. That was most of the way that I consumed my New Japan, was like all the social media promo work after matches and stuff. That's how I learned about Switchblade Jay White, who maybe he comes back, maybe he's healthy for this, and that would make the most sense in the world. I don't know. There's so many avenues here, but I think because we got ROH was its own thing during the first Forbidden Door. Tony Khan hadn't purchased it yet, or was about to, whatever. So ROH showing up, that's a big deal. New Japan's a big deal. We have all of these companies that have been working with them all year. We saw a bunch of, well, I did, you left, a bunch of CML matches at the AEW event. Yeah.
You're not wrong.
ROH and CMLL after the main shows were over, and it was awesome. But also, if we've seen them, it makes it really hard to get excited to pay for them. Even if the match is going to rule and it's going to be different and all of the positive things, I'm not excited to see those things because I've already seen it. I'm excited to see the card and the matches, but I'm less excited to see the cross-promotional part. If they just incorporate GCW or MLW or PWG or any of the other number of smaller promotions, Ashe, if they could get them to come onto that card, imagine how cool that would be. Now you suddenly got these characters that have shown up in AEW at some point, more than likely, but Matt Cardona's here representing something else. I have no idea. How is he not signed anywhere, by the way? Still baffling to me.
Yeah. It's I have no answer for that. He fought Mustafa Ali at TNA Emergence. He's been popping up on TNA programming consistently for the better part of a year at this point. But yeah, there have been times where I definitively thought, oh, he's going to sign with AEW, or oh, he's definitely going to. I mean, how many times have you and I predicted he's going to pop up in the Royal Rumble, and that he's going to be a mainstay because, you know, his wifey Chelsea Green is there and is flourishing, and it just hasn't happened. It's very strange. And Brad, to your point, we're also living in an era in wrestling now where it felt to me as a fan that AEW was kind of breaking new territory with that first Forbidden Door show. I think you even got the poster for that show. That was a great.
It's in my classroom.
Yeah, that was a great pull on your part. Yeah. And then slowly but surely, WWE started doing that in this new era of wrestling. And, you know, they brought in TNA, and now with AAA, they announced the Worlds Collide show in September. AAA WWE. It's going to happen at the Thompson Mack Center, UNLV Jones. So WWE started occupying some of that territory in terms of presenting the idea of a Forbidden Door show. And I think in some cases even did it better than AEW, quite frankly, in terms of the build to the show. There have been some Forbidden Door pay-per-views where I felt like, I don't know who these wrestlers are. I don't know why I should care about them. I know the match is going to be good, but why should I invest in who they are? And in some cases, AEW has done much better, but there have been some bouts where I felt a little bit not as excited as I expected to be. But with that being said, Brad, let's not forget, I'm quite sure this was just Forbidden Door last year in 2024. That show, that card gave us Stephanie Baker versus Mercedes Moné.
Yes.
And my life changed.
Everything changed at that point.
The
landscape of professional wrestling changed after that.
The sun got brighter for me. the 8x10 was purchased in my background.
Of course.
Everything changed at that. So there have been moments that have been seminal to my enjoyment of wrestling from this specific show. And for the reasons you said, this card looks pretty great. And I think we're going to get some big time moments from it.
And I think it's cool that, to your point, we get to see the reason that I love this pay-per-view is because they get to showcase talent I'm not familiar with, and that makes it super exciting for me.
Absolutely.
Because we never know if we're going to get another moment like a Stephanie.
Yes.
I'm still convinced that like AEW landed like an absolute whale with Tekla. That people are just probably not quite where I am right now, but I just think that she's going to be a huge star for the company, and she's already making an impact both physically and literally, like figuratively and literally. Like she hits really hard. The Tekla Jamie Hayter match at some point, I just
For sure. Once Jamie Hayter's back.
yeah, I miss her, man. I just miss her. Wrestling's not as good without Jamie Hayter in it. There's a hole in the TV shows and in my heart.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I can't wait to have her back. Speaking of people who were at a peak and now we're waiting to see them return to that status, I have much more confidence in Jamie Hayter than Chance the Rapper at this point. How about that?
Yeah, maybe she kicks in that Forbidden Door. We'll see. Tyler, what did we miss?
I have one item. This is going to be a little bit different, Brad. I want to give a big shout out to my former college advisor. When I was at U of A in Tucson, I was blessed to meet the amazing Renee Schaefer-Horton, longtime journalist turned J-School advisor, and I would not have been able to graduate college without all of her support. Brad, now she runs a Substack, which I subscribe to. So her words come out every Thursday. If you search Swing for the Joy, again, her name is Renee Schaefer-Horton. She put out a Substack last week. So basically you get kind of these journal entries or these long form articles from writers on the Substack platform. And this is where Renee is writing. The most recent contribution from her was titled What Long Love Looks Like, subhead, especially in the time of Trump. And so she reflects on her marriage and how much she loves her husband and how they've been through different stages of their relationship and now what it's like to be in a loving marriage in this age of lots of questions and existential worries. She reflects even on her own health and how that's been through various phases in the last few years. But Brad, she has a part of this entry that really hit me, and she reflects on technology, and she writes, quote, "Big tech wants us unhappy because it keeps us scrolling, searching for that tiny dopamine hit, addicted to the computer in our pocket. Those in charge of big tech know their products produce unhappiness because most of them will not let their children have smartphones or social media before the age of 16. And then she references a former Facebook executive who told an audience at Stanford he has, quote, tremendous guilt about helping to build the social network, and that his children, quote, aren't allowed to use that shit. Final point, tech oligarchs don't want their families to suffer from the drug of, quote, not good enough, but they're thrilled to make billions off our families addicted to the comparison/optimization drug. This is no big deal if you're talking about weighted vests or ice cream makers, but is far more critical when speaking of relationships. I love me some Renee Schaefer-Horton. I recommend everyone check out her blog, her Substack. Again, it's titled Swing for the Joy. And it made me just think about, Brad, continuously my relationship with technology and the work we do and how tech and social media has allowed us to begin friendships and relationships with people we've never met before. But also, I don't know if you run into this, Brad. I know I certainly do. At times, it's really easy to get into that comparison game.
Yes.
And how can that just really just strip us of the joy we find in our lives. So shout out to Renee for those beautiful words, and I hope you all consider checking out her work. Beautifully said, Renee, and hope you're doing well out there. Go Cats, bear down. That's all I got, Brad. What did we miss?
Hopefully a confirmation email. I just signed up for the Substack.
Let's go. Renee, we got you one. Yeah. We out here.
Now we're going free. Okay, you know I'm a teacher. Okay.
She appreciates that.
Yeah, of course. We'll see how it goes. $5 is Fightful money right now. I don't have a lot. I already brought it up. Sami Callihan has called it a career, but I sent you the video. Danhausen and CM Punk did a vlog together on Danhausen's vlog. It is really interesting. I don't know what that means for Danhausen's contract with AEW. I imagine that doing something with CM Punk is fine given that they're kind of allowed carte blanche to do whatever. But that's the one that's the one talent in particular that I feel like gets you cut. So we'll see what happens there. I doubt he's going to be back on AEW or ROH TV anytime soon. They brought him back for a hot second and then he disappeared, and I don't understand why. The only thing I can think is that there's some bad things happening with that relationship. It seems to be that's what happened with several of the talent once Punk left. Worked out for him quite well, but I don't know that it's working out for everybody else involved as well. It's not like it's not working out for Ricky Saints, but we haven't seen Danhausen in a very long time outside of the one appearance. So I don't really know, but it's also the same with Jack Perry. So I don't know. So outside of that, I'm sure there's other things, but Tyler, I don't have them.
Yeah. Well, please be sure to follow us at GIPod19 across the social spaces for exclusive show updates and much more. We thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.